Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on SAP UI 5. In the last episode of SAP UI 5, we have given a closure to our CSS chapter. In today's session, we will go ahead and start with JavaScript introduction. Before we start, just wanted to showcase you an amazing piece of innovation which I'm working on. I'm currently working on creating a application which is native HANA application, and this HANA application is making use of IBM Watson machine learning library. And what it actually does, it makes use of artificial intelligence, and then it the computer will work like a human. And just the way you chat on WhatsApp or Google with somebody else, you will see that people will also be a computer will also be chatting with you. So this is a HANA native HANA application built on top of SAP Fiori user interface, and it make use of new technology called HANA Access. So what am I doing is I have made use of one of the HANA library, and using that library I am actually creating this. So let me just quickly create this application. So I just give here demo X, demo, and then say mob 5, click on create, and I right click and import my application which I developed just to save time. Browse it, and I will just select the file, import the project. There is a problem. I think I have to choose another option to import this. So right click, import the archive file, of course, and then I have to choose the file, and this file will be available on my website soon. I will also record a video of what code is written in this on YouTube. So I request you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you will get latest and greatest update about this, how to build this program on Fiori. A very simple program. And now when I run this, you will see it gives me hello and my user ID. And now nice Fiori's user interface has been created. And now if I just show you what I do is I say hello, and then the server will send me response back, hey. And now if I say how are you and press enter, you see it says me fantastic. So you see, whatever I am typing, it understanding, and then it is sending me the response accordingly. So I say who created you? I don't understand. So I say who created you? And then you can see Anubhav Oberoi. Yeah. So this is how you can make use of learning libraries and also make use of artificial intelligence so that it can understand you, it can understand text, images, it can process them intelligently, and it can send you the response accordingly. So typical flow is you train the machine with training data, and then that machine will start understanding and sending you the responses. Let's say, whom do you work for? Press enter, and you see, sorry, I didn't get. So if something machine cannot understand, then machine will send you back this kind of response. And maybe if I say, are you human? Enter, and then see, I am a bot, what are you? Yeah. So you can see, and I say, nice to meet you, or good to hear from you. So if there's something which it cannot understand, it says I don't understand. Yeah. So now I say bye, and then you see it says goodbye. So that's the beauty of Fiori user interface. So Fiori is just user interface here, and the orchestration logic is built on server side JavaScript. And then we have machine learning library from IBM Watson, which is on which I'm sending these requests. IBM Watson machine learning library is processing this text what I'm sending over there. It prepares the response, sends it to my access there. If there is any formatting required, I'll do it and then send it back to my uh, my user interface, which is built on Fiori, and this is completely built on HANA database. If you see, this is HANA web editor, and this is where I had built it. There is no ABAP in middle. Okay, this is complete, and soon I'm also going to launch a course on SAP HANA Access development, which is nothing but native HANA application development, and there I will teach all this these techniques. And of course, a later point of time, my plan is to also launch courses on artificial intelligence, machine learning, predictive analytics, SAP Leonardo, and then probably Copilot, SAP Mobility, hybrid development, application development toolkit, Apache Cordova plugins, Capsule SDK, mobile like features like push notification, S4 HANA, a detailed course also I am planning to launch, only specific to S4 HANA. So there's a lot to learn, guys. It's endless. It's endless. Okay. So if you're there with me, then you will learn a lot with me. So this is an example. Soon you will see me posting a YouTube video about this. And in that YouTube video, I will explain you how to build this application yourself on top of your SAP HANA DB from scratch. So stay tuned on my YouTube channel to expect this video, and then you can mesmerize your your manager, your people in your company. So this March is coming in, so you will see your manager is about to ask you what you have learned new in this year, right? This is one question, and then something of this kind of you can demo to your manager. He will be happy to see such kind of innovation what you're doing. Okay, so that's will be a good and nice stuff for you to display or demonstrate to your colleagues and friends, and your manager, of course. So right now, let's close this up and switch back to our UI5 part. And our topic for today is JavaScript. So what is JavaScript and why JavaScript is being used? Let's get started with that. So what is JavaScript and why we use JavaScript? So what is JS? So by far we saw CSS and we saw HTML. So I guess you would have got some flavor of what is JS. JS stands for JavaScript. It is the only programming language. So I would say, first of all, it is a scripting language, first of all. Now, what is a scripting language, guys? A scripting language is nothing but a language which consists of functions and libraries built on top of programming language. Okay, that's exactly a scripting languages. But when it comes to interview, if somebody asks you what is JavaScript, your answer should be the JavaScript is the browser programming language, is the only programming language which browser understand. Hope it is clear, this message is clear to all of you. Is the only programming language which browser understand, guys. That's what exactly JavaScript is. Browser don't understand, like we saw in previous chapters. It understand HTML5 and CSS. They are HTML is like a markup language and CSS is like a plain text what browser understand directly. But JavaScript is a programming language, which means we can implement the looping, conditioning, and all the variety of imperative logic using JavaScript, right? Imperative logic means if else, case statement, switch case statement, variables we can declare, we can do arithmetic and logical operations, all that what a capability of a programming language is, we can do it with a JavaScript. Actually speaking, when somebody goes in deep, they will say, is it a scripting language or programming language? You should say it's a scripting language, and a scripting language is a language which is built on top of a programming language. So there is a programming language behind the scenes, and on top of it they have built a function collection of libraries and functions which we reuse to make to give instructions to the browser. Okay, So that's what JavaScript is. Now, a very important interview question which no trainer will teach you. Okay, this comes with definite experience. What is the types of JavaScript? Believe me, this is a tricky interview question, and no trainer online. It's an open challenge. You can go and check any YouTube video of any online trainer. They will not teach you this because they don't even know. What are all the types of JavaScript? If this is an interview question, majority of the people will fail answering this because trainers don't have that much deep experience. So just now I showed you one example of chatbot. That was an example of a server side JavaScript. So JavaScript is of two type. One is client side JavaScript. Second is server side JavaScript. What is client side JavaScript? Client side JavaScript, the code executes completely on client side, means in the browser or mobile of user. Yeah, so here the entire code is downloaded to the user's workstation into the browser session, and that gets executed into the user's workstation, user's browser. It gets executed. So here it's called completely client side JavaScript. What is the advantage of client side JavaScript? It is fast because you are connected to a system, you are connected to a browser, and all the code is executing in your local computer. Okay, it is executing in your local computer, guys. That's why it is fast, because you don't have to go back and forth between server. Imagine in SAP GUI, when you connect to an ABAP program, whenever you press enter, it has to send a signal to the application server in ABAP, right? So that's a client server architecture where it has to always go to the server, send the server, and expects a response from the server. That's what it has to do. But here in the JavaScript, the entire code gets executed completely natively on the browser. It gets downloaded indeed on the client side, and it gets executed here in the client side. That's what exactly happens in a client side JavaScript. Now, what is server side JavaScript? Server side JavaScript, the code is executed on server side. Okay, now example for client side JavaScript is, so where do we use it? To build rich UI applications like UI5, Fiori, HTML based web apps. This is where we use it to build user interface. This is where the client side JavaScript is used. Now here in the server side JavaScript, code executes completely on server side. Okay, which means any server side programming you want to do, then you can use server side JavaScript, which is getting so popular these days. On server side, we also have technologies like Java Server Pages, JSP. Okay, we have ASP.NET, C Sharp. We have different programming language which we use on the server side. So you see this client server architecture which we saw initially. So here you have server, and there's a server side program. What it does, it validates your username, password, it checks database entries. Okay, all these things is done by the server side program. And in which are all the languages this can be written? It could be in Java, it could be in ABAP, it could be in any other programming language on the server. And one of the major programming language which is now getting so popular in the market, it's Node.js. So Node.js is also a server side programming language. Example is Node.js. We have in SAP HANA Access.js. So those who are completely working on HANA DB and building native HANA application, you will go with Access.js, server side JavaScript, Access.js. These are all the programming languages which are getting popular on the server side. What is the purpose? The purpose is to read data from database, sending emails, orchestration logic, implementation. You're doing any orchestration logic, you are control flow logic, that you should send this particular HTML page to the user. All that is done using server-side JavaScript. A very amazing example. Just now I showed you when we started the session a chat bot where I'm using a server-side JavaScript to control the flow, control when user types something, send a request. I take the request, I send it to IBM Watson server for machine library, process it, get the response from IBM Watson, and then send it back to you. So that's the whole flow what I am doing. But I cannot share that code completely with you, especially the machine learning library part. I will only share the part where maybe I will write a local code which simulates the machine learning. Okay, which simulates the machine learning, and that's what I will send it to you in the, and you all can try that out, and you can make anyone fool that okay, you have used a machine learning library. Okay, now coming, same we are using in Adobe Form when we need to write some logic on JavaScript of client and server type. What is the difference between JS on the browser and Adobe JS? I have not worked, Meenakshi, on Adobe JS. I'm so sorry, I will not be able to answer or comment on this question. But you need to decide if there is a logic on the server side you are putting for Adobe, then it's a server side JavaScript. But if at all the code is getting executed on the client, it could be inside a PDF form, it could be inside a browser, that's a client side JavaScript. It doesn't matter in which software you are executing. If you are executing in your local computer, if the code gets executed in local computer, that's a client side JavaScript. If the code gets executed on the server side, it's a server side JavaScript, as simple as that. So some example of say, so normally when you look at JavaScript, it's the people will always talk about client side JavaScript. Okay, very less projects you will see. If you're lucky, then only you will see projects on which you will work where you have this. Okay, Node.js or XSJS. Very less project right now. Penetration is very less, but believe me, this is the future of industry. This is the future of industry where you will see more and more code is getting built on XSJS and Node.js, and that's where I am taking you. I'm going to launch a course on XSJS and Node.js programming with on top of SAP HANA DB with native HANA support, and we'll build end-to-end Fiori application there without any ABAP in the cloud. Okay, and using machine learning libraries. Couple of examples I will also take it over there using SAP Leonardo machine learning library. Okay, when do we go for client side JS and when do we go for, when you want to build a user interface, when you want to build any UI5 Fiori application, you will go with client side JavaScript. But when you want to build a native application to SAP HANA, you will go with the server side JavaScript. Here our server in our case is what? Anyone? What is our server in our case? When you have UI5 Fiori application running in your SAP system, which is your server? Which is your server? Anyone? When you're running SAP application, yes, SAP is server. What is the server exactly called? What is the technical platform called for SAP? NetWeaver. NetWeaver is your server actually, guys. NetWeaver Gateway, perfect answer location. NetWeaver Gateway is your server, so you don't need XSJS. Okay, you don't need XSJS. So just for interview point of view, I showed you my purpose is not to confuse you. My purpose is not to teach you server side JavaScript in this course. We will completely focus on this, and whenever I say JavaScript, I mean client side JavaScript in our entire course. There is no server side JavaScript. I know for some of you it may be little confusing still that these two things, but just remember from interview point of view there are two types. This is the one which we use for UI5 and Fiori completely. Okay, when we are saying JavaScript, we mean client side JavaScript because that's what used to build user interface. It, the whole code gets executed in the browser locally in your computer. Now what are all the capabilities, what it can do, what JS can do for you is, so JS can validate your input, it can change the styles at runtime, it can adapt UI changes, it can change DOM elements or create new DOM elements. Yeah, it can give you output. These are all the capabilities. You can also use imperative logic, conditional processing. All this you can do it with the client side JavaScript. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how can we apply client side JavaScript on our application. So whenever you want to build a client side JavaScript or JavaScript application, user interface application based application, how and what are all the different techniques to apply JavaScript. So there are three techniques like we discussed earlier in the chapter of CSS. One is inline JavaScript, second is internal JavaScript, and third is external JavaScript. What is inline JavaScript? Inline JavaScript is JavaScript which is applied at element level. Second, internal JavaScript, JavaScript which is applied at page level. And third comes is external JavaScript, where JavaScript file is referenced in HTML page from outside. Okay, these are all the three different options we have to apply or make use of JavaScript in our application. Fine. So that's all in all the processing of JavaScript is all about. Then inline JavaScript. So now before we get into it, we need to understand quickly something called event. What is an event? Anyone? What do you think? What is an event? A family function? Is that what is an event? No? Yes? It's an action. Okay. Yeah, yes, very nice. You are thinking very good. So many people are saying action. It's like click. Okay, that's an action. Yes, absolutely right. So when user interact with your user interface, he or she will perform actions. What are all these actions could be? It could be a click, it could be a select, it could be a mouse down, it could be mouse hover. You just take your mouse on something. Yeah, that's a mouse hover. You click on something. That's a click event. Okay, that's a click action. You're doing an action. Okay, that's a click action. Okay, key press, key down, key up, all the double click, select, hover, drag and drop. These are all the actions which user does on the screen. Now, when an action is triggered, a reaction happens, right? Action to reaction. And what is this reaction? The browser will generate an event. Browser will generate an event, and that event then you can use to write some programming code. For example, when user click on a button, a click action happened. As a result, on click event was triggered. So if a click action happens, on click event gets triggered, right? A click action happens, on click event got triggered. Similarly, in JavaScript we have different variety of events like on mouse over, on mouse down, on mouse up, on load. On load means web page got loaded, right? On load event. Yeah, on quit, on double click, on mouse down, on key press. These are all different events available in the browser. Okay, and these events gets triggered when an action happens on the UI. Hope it's clear to all of you what is in, because this is the base for you to write your programming code. You cannot simply write your code wherever you want. You need to wait for an action to happen, and then you need to give reaction. So inline JavaScript we apply at element level. So what is the syntax? Syntax is very simple. At HTML element level, let's say you have a button control and you have on click is an action name. Okay, sorry, your event name, and then inside this you can write your JavaScript code. You can write your JavaScript code inside. Okay, this is called inline JavaScript. Coming next, what is internal JavaScript? Internal JavaScript, we will write code at the page level. So we use now one important question to all of you: which tag did we use to write internal CSS? Who will tell me? Which tag did we use to write internal CSS? Perfect answer. Style tag. Swami has got it correct. Lokesh, incorrect answer. We used style tag at the page level. You did not follow my questions. You did not follow my PPT. You are not watching FundaFoxes, guys. Those who are not answering correctly, you see here is the answer. It's already there in PPT number 17. I will always remind you that you are not looking at the session every day. Here you see that's internal CSS clearly written them in the PPT. Clearly written. Style tag is what we use to apply internal CSS. Similar to that, we have in JavaScript something called, we use a special tag at, or special tag at page level called script tag. Okay, this is what we use. We use a script tag. That's the tag we use at the page level. Internal JavaScript. That's the tag we use it. Okay, external JavaScript also same tag, but I will show you referencing technique, then you will understand it better. But right now let's not focus on this part. Let's focus on these two parts. Clear to everyone what exactly we are doing here? So let's first have a look at couple of more interesting FundaFoxes related to JavaScript. So three techniques: inline, internal and external JavaScript. Inline JavaScript where you put the code inside at the element level. Internal JavaScript where you put it in the script and script tag at the page level. External also I will show you. We use same script tag but different technique. Event we are clear. Now let's create our first JavaScript page with a simple button, and on click of that button we will display some output. So let's quickly look at output functions in JavaScript. So there are four output functions. One is called window.alert. Okay, before even we go into that, let's quickly discuss about two important things, very important things, which you will see all over JavaScript we will be using. Now, anybody from a web background, which variable you use to print system date in ABAP? Who will tell me? Which variable do you use? Perfect answer. Everybody is smart. They will tell me quickly. Right. Perfect answer. That's what we use. Why? Why you didn't declare it first before using? Why? Do you need to declare it before using? Anyone? Do you need to declare this before using? Why not? Declare, na? Why not? It's a system variable. Perfect answer. It is available at system level, automatically declared by system. So similar to this, every programming language has some or the other thing which is system defined, which is available globally. Do you all agree to this point? Every programming language has something which is available globally. You don't need to define it separately. Do you agree to this point? Yes or no? Anyone? Is this clear or not? Yes, every programming language has something which you don't need to declare or define yourself. It's available globally. Now, similar to that in JavaScript, we have real metal. What is that real metal? In JavaScript, we also have two most powerful system variables available. If you don't understand these variables, you will not never be able to understand JavaScript. Believe me, you will never be able to understand JavaScript if you don't understand these two variables. Remember, okay? Very important. Fit in your mind, watch it for with concentration. First variable, window variable. Okay. Remember, W has to be small. Window variable. Okay. Window variable, what it does? A window variable is an object of browser window. Okay. It's an object of browser window. So I open maybe a browser window. So what you see here, this window, whole window, huh? What you see, this whole window, object of this whole window is your window variable. It's an object. See, programming language, you cannot say, okay, this window. You have to talk to an object in programming language, right? So this whole thing, this whole window is your window object. Clear? That's what is your window object. So a window object is a variable, ready to use variable, which is an object of browser window. That's what window object is. Next comes is the document object. Okay. Document object, the most powerful object in JavaScript, guys. Most powerful object in JavaScript. Document object. This object will hold the object of DOM. 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 Remember this, fit it in your mind permanently, guys. Very important object. I'm going to ask you this question in almost every single class from here on. What is document object? In the night, in the middle of night, somebody wakes you up and asks you what is document object, you should be able to tell it's an object of the DOM. It's an object of the DOM. It's an object of the DOM. What is DOM? DOM is nothing but HTML structure. DOM is nothing but an HTML structure. DOM is nothing but HTML tree structure. DOM is nothing but HTML tree structure, and document is an object of the DOM. It's an object of the DOM. Is that clear to everyone? What is it? Document object is an object of DOM. What does it mean? We can use this object to play with HTML elements in the tree structure. Hope it's clear to all of you. What is the power of it? It gives you direct access to all your UI elements built using HTML. Okay, these are all the two objects we have it in the system. Let's have a quick look at an example now using JavaScript. So we will use this now. Some important funda facts of JavaScript. I know it's too much of theory for you, but it's an important theory. I cannot skip any of this theory. You will get confused. So don't think it as a load. Enjoy it. If you start thinking it as a load, you will not be able to remember. But if you start thinking like you're learning something crazy which will change your life forever, what you have done till date is a waste. This is the real metal. This is the real thing what you're going to learn, and it is going to be changing your life. That's when your interest will prevail, and that's when you will remember all these things. So JavaScript is case sensitive. Very important statement. First statement, it is case sensitive. Example, if you type document, it won't work. What is the right thing I need to type? What is right? Right word is what? Anyone? Just now I showed you document object. Perfect. I got my answer. Right word is document. What is the difference? D is small. Perfect, guys. You got it. You understood it now. That's first funda fox of JavaScript. It's case sensitive. every statement in JS ends with, in ABAP, what every statement ends with? Anyone? Dot. Perfect. Everyone knows ABAP very well. In JavaScript, it ends with semicolon. Symbol will break you or make you. Remember my rule of the game. Symbol will make you, break you. It's a semicolon, not column. Third important statement. Okay. Third important statement in JavaScript. So we saw that we have it's case sensitive, and then we also saw that JavaScript ends with semicolon. Third important statement, naming convention. So naming convention, we call it as naming convention in JavaScript always follows camel case. What is camel case? What is camel case? What is camel case? Camel case says, first, if a word is made of two words, the first letter is small and next consecutive letter of second word is caps. That's camel case. For example, I love India. What will be the output in camel case? So first letter is always small. The first word's first letter is always small, I. Second word is love. Yeah, love is second word. So second consecutive words first letter should be capital. Love, L is capital. India is a third word. In the third word, again the first letter of third word is also capital. I capital India. I love India. That's your phrase. You can see in camel case this is how you write. Now let me see if you guys can understand what I just mentioned. So let me give you some phrase and let's see who all can convert it for me. So I say Spider-Man is here. Who will convert this for me and tell me what should be the camel case of this Spider-Man is here? Let's see who can answer. Sam has given correct answer. Majority of you have given me correct answer. Let's see, guys. Okay, now again it may be Spider-Man. Some people are treating as a single word. Some people treating it man as a different word and spider as a different word. Okay, so since it's a character, I will treat it like a single word. Okay, so I will say Spider-Man. Okay, some people are saying man, M is capital, that they are also treating it as a word, so that's also okay for me. Okay, but right now I'm treating it as a character. So Spider-Man is, I is capital, here H is capital. That's your camel case. Hope it's clear to all of you how you use naming convention in JavaScript. Very important, naming convention in JavaScript. You will see this is being followed because it's case sensitive. That's the reason naming convention is important. Okay, that's the reason naming convention is important. So let's go ahead and create our first JavaScript program. So I'll quickly switch to our web IDE and create our first JavaScript. We will. It's a browser programming language, so we will be using a simple HTML page and apply JavaScript onto that HTML page. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I just come here. So there are four output functions I was talking about. So where are those functions? So there are four output functions in JavaScript. Let me discuss about them quickly. So there are output functions. So first output function is window.alert. This will bring you a pop-up to display output. That's our first word, window.alert. Second comes is document.write. Now you see I've done a mistake. Can anybody point out what mistake I've done? Yes, D is capital I put. That's incorrect. Each has to be small. It will replace the whole DOM. Document.write. So window.alert document.write, then HTML element dot inner text. Okay, this is also another output function which will display text inside an HTML element. Then finally we have after this another output function called console.log. Again C is small to print something in console. So these are all the 4 output functions we have it with our JavaScript. Let's experience them in the system with a very simple tiny example. So I switch back to our WebIDE, right click and create a new file, and I name this file as my.js example.html file again. And again I just start with doc type. Never copy paste the code, guys. Those who are cheating, they are cheating you. Those who are teaching copy paste, they are cheating you. Never go with such trainers. They are completely cheaters. Okay, they themselves don't know anything. They are just taking examples from some other trainers and teaching it. Head and body, and then I will just start with the head over here and in this body. So in the header we will say nothing at this point. I just say title and I say my JS tutorial, and then in the body of my HTML what I will do is I will write here a simple button control, and then say on click. This is an event I was talking about, on click event, and then end of the button, and let's put a label here called click me. Save this. That's a very simple button control. And now on click is an event which will trigger when user clicks, and inside here we will be writing our JavaScript code later point of time. Let's now experience this. Run this. So I take it in another window and I say change the file name my.js example, press enter, and you see a nice beautiful button is being displayed to you on the right hand side. When you click, nothing happens because right now you have not written any code on click. So let's use our first output function window.alert, and I say single quote, and then I will write down here some text and I say Anubhav is here. Save this, refresh, and let's click, and voila, you see it gives me a pop-up. It's the first output function, gives me a pop-up saying that Anubhav is here. Well, whatever I've typed in here inside, it's getting displayed. Yeah, that's your first JavaScript code on click event. Now the disadvantage of this approach is inline JavaScript is something which is again becomes unmanageable over a period of time. Maintenance cost of this is very high because let me take an example. I put another button and then I say click, okay, press me, okay, and I save. And you see there are two buttons. Both the buttons I want same functionality. What I need to do in this case? Anyone? Both the buttons I want same functionality. What shall I do? Do I copy paste this piece of code again inside this here? And tomorrow when there is a change in functionality, how many places I have to change? Just like CSS you saw, right? Multiple places you would have to change. That's a bad programming practice. Another disadvantage is you are kind of merging your rendering logic, which just displays a button, which is HTML logic, with the JavaScript logic. You are merging them. Never do it. Always try to separate code. Clear responsibility has to be there for everyone. JavaScript should be in a separate responsibility. HTML will be separate, CSS will be separate. We have three, that's why we have three different techniques. So we go with internal JavaScript. So internal JavaScript, we go to header and we put a script tag, and inside this you can now write function. So maybe I just write a small function and I say click me. Watch carefully. See guys, what happened? Camel case. First letter is small, next consecutive word, first letter is capital. That's what I've done. And now I can just easily take this guy here and paste it here. That's my code. End it with semicolon. Save this and just invoke this function. Okay. Invoke this function from both the places. It will do the magic for you. So I call click me. Remember, you have to put parenthesis. This is a parenthesis symbol. You remember in demo I told you it's a parenthesis symbol. This is called what? Anybody in the demo I told you, what is this symbol called? Anyone? What is this symbol called? In demo I told you, what is this symbol called? Anyone? What is this symbol called? It's called curly braces, or braces also okay. This is called parenthesis, and there's third one called bracket, which we will also be using going forward. So now that's click me, press me, and then I say click me, save this, refresh, and now I say click here. You see Anubhav is here, click here, Anubhav is here. That's a reusability. That gives you me a reusability. So that's how I write functions in JavaScript. Clear everyone? Let's write another output function. So I say function display console, and then I just say console.log superb JS code. Save this, and maybe I call display console function by my second button. Press me, refresh, and where is the console? When the console opens up, anyone, when the console opens up, what do you need to do to open up the console in the browser? F12. Perfect answer. Press F12 and you see console over here in F12 where you see the DOM. You see console here, and now click on press me and you see superb JS code. It's printing. It's very helpful for developers actually when you are doing development, and if you want to check intermediate results, just like in, you don't have to debug, then just put console.log and put your variable inside this, and it will print in the console the intermediate results for you. We'll see some powerful examples using console log in our Fiori chapter. So right now just teaching you very ground level basics. Okay, focus on these basics. Moving on, next is button, click, and third output function is third output function I will display it little later, and we'll just look at the second output function, which is document.write. So I say, yeah, so doc display is a function I will be creating, and I'll say log me in or login. Yeah, and then I come here and put this function. Now what happens when this function is not there? Okay, what happens when this function is not there? Anyone, what do you think what will happen when this function is not there? What will happen? Anyone, what do you think what will happen when this function is not there? Should give an error, right? Where do you see the error? In one of the chapter I told you console is your best friend. Here you see that error. See, click on log on and you see doc display is not defined, right? This is what your function name is, doc display. It says doc display not defined. It doesn't find it. It's not there, right? So that's why it's giving you an error. Simple. So let's put the doc display, and of course we just function, and I say document dot write logged in successfully, and with semicolon, refresh, and watch carefully. I do a login button. Document.write will replace the whole DOM. So you see in the DOM you have 3 buttons. All of that will get replaced with this text. Okay, that's what will happen. Click on login and you see the entire DOM body got changed and it got replaced with login successfully. Okay, so that's document.write. It replaces the complete content of the DOM with what you put in. You can also put an HTML code inside. I can put h2 tag because browser understand HTML directly. I can put an h2 tag, refresh, click on login. You see it comes in little bolder now because it's an HTML tag which I'm returning in the document.write. Clear? Hope it's clear to all of you. What exactly are we doing in here? Doc.display, document display. Okay, now an exercise for all of you. I will give maybe an exercise, but before that, let's quickly look at variable declaration in JavaScript. How to declare variables in JavaScript. Now, the beauty here is in JavaScript, that's another fundafox. When we declare variables, we don't need to explicitly provide data types for variable declaration. Clear, everyone? We don't need to explicitly provide data types for variable declarations in our code. Is that clear to everyone? How to declare variable in JavaScript? We don't have to provide data types. So in ABAP, what is the syntax? In ABAP, we use data, and ABAP is not case sensitive, so I can use D capital also. My LV Matner type MATNR, which is a data element, or it could be primitive data type in ABAP, right? It could be a table type, it could be a structure type. So all that we can give in ABAP. So we have always have to give a type or like to tell the variable type and like, right? That's in ABAP. But here we don't. We just have to say syntax is var. V should be small. So var is a keyword, guys. So let me type keyword in capital letter. And then you have your variable name. Camel case you have to follow, guys, always camel case, and then you have to put your value. That's it, semicolon. It will automatically decide based on which value you will pump into the variable. The data type of that variable will be decided automatically. That's the beauty of JavaScript, isn't it? Amazing. You don't have to put any type anymore. So powerful. Let's come back and experience this. As you all know, browser understand JavaScript directly, so I can try the things directly in my console. Can type in directly here, so I can say var x equals to 10, enter. You see x has been defined. Now if you just press x and enter, you see the value is getting displayed. X is having 10. So let me keep putting this code in a notepad file so that you all can practice this later point of time, and I will upload this also into the system. So let me keep putting this code into the file, and then later point of time you can make use of it. So what I'll do next is I will say type of function. So type of is also a function in JavaScript. I can say type of x. This will tell me what type of data variable it is, and you see it telling me it's a number, guys. That's a ready to use function in JavaScript. Type of function, it will tell you the type of variable. Now let me just assign x equals to 20. Can anybody tell me what will be the type of? Give me now. Anyone? What do you think the type of will? Yes, perfect answer. It's a character which I have assigned because I put it in the double quote or single quote. It's a character. Now if you do type of, it gives me string. You see, it gives me string because it's a string variable. Because I put double quote, though it looks like a number, but since it's put in double quote or single quote, it's a string. Now something of this sort, if you want to ever convert it to number, you can also use parse int, parse to an integer and put x inside, and you see now it converted a string to a number. Very important function in JavaScript, ready-made function. As I told you, JavaScript is a library. It's a client-side scripting library which gives you ready to use functions. Okay, client-side scripting language. It has a lot of libraries and functions inbuilt. Whatever is important, we'll cover it in our session. Okay, now let me just say x equals to true. What do you think? Now the x is of type, anyone? What do you think now X is of type? Boolean. Perfect answer. Let's do a type of Boolean. You see, it's printing Boolean. Now I'm using upper and down arrow to just switch to my last written statement. You see upper and down arrow of my keyboard to switch to my last set of statements. So type of X is what I used, and you see it's printing Boolean. Wow, perfect, superb. So now let's move on to the next type. So we saw a string, Boolean, yeah, number. Mainly these are all the three types we use, and then we also use complicated types. What is complicated type? It's an object type. So objects in JavaScript. So objects in JavaScript are like structures in ABAP. So structure is what? It's a collection of fields. Fields, remember, it's a collection of fields. So typically it's always one record, okay, with lots of different fields values inside. So it's one structure. So similar to that, you can have an object in JavaScript. How to declare an object? What is the syntax? You use curly braces inside that, property name, property value, comma, property name, property value, comma, property name, property value, separated by colon. That's how you will give a structure in JavaScript. Let's quickly create an employee structure for us. So I clear the console and I say var emp object, and you see now I have created here a structure, and I have an employee ID as 100, employee name as Anubhav, salary is 3000, currency is euro, and company is onlinefurytrainings.com. You see it's written inside a curly braces. It's an object, guys. Okay, this is an object. This is a notation of an object. Okay, it's an object. Press enter. Employee object, when you print, you will see it is displaying me the object value. So let me copy this code again in a notepad, and then you can try that out, creating objects in JavaScript, and then you can print this object on the UI. How to now access variables of the object? So it says structure inside in ABAP. How do you access component of a structure? Anybody? How do you access? If material Mara is a structure, it has a Matner as a field inside. What do you use in ABAP to access Matner? Yes, structure hyphen field name. That's a symbol. In ABAP, we have employee. In JavaScript, we have object name dot the variable name. So dot, I say company, press enter, and you see it displays me the value. So you can also say employee object dot salary, and you see it shows me the value. If I want to change the value, okay, let me just keep putting this so that you all can practice this up. And I want to change this value, so I can use this equals to, let's say I want to change salary to 5000. Press enter, and now let's look at the whole object once again. You see salary have been updated to 5000. So that's how you can change the value inside the structure. Is that clear to everyone? How exactly we are writing this? So can a structure contain multiple records? Anyone? Can a structure contain multiple records? No, it cannot. It can only contain one record of one employee at a time. If you see I change the salary, then it changed the salary in my existing attribute. So an array can hold multiple records. So let's look at an array in JavaScript. So for now, coming to the star of the day, it's the array symbol. So you remember we saw curly braces, parentheses. So an array in JavaScript. In JavaScript, it is used to store multiple values. Okay, so used to store multiple values. An array in JavaScript is used. It is declared using brackets. Okay, what is the syntax? Syntax is very simple. Array, and inside this you can put value 1 comma value 2 comma value 3, and so on. Like this you can keep putting. Okay, let me move this up into the new one here. So value 1, value 2, value 3, and so on. You can keep putting inside the structure, like inside the array, like this. So it's a multiple. So if you just draw this array, this is how an array looks like. Okay, this is how an array looks like. So it's first come last out. Okay, first come last out. That's what array is. It's actually a stack. So you can insert elements, you can remove elements from an array, and you can see this. If it's my array, then I can have value 1, value 2, value 3. Now array items are pointed by index. And remember, very important statement, guys, index always starts with 0. Okay, index always and always starts with 0. Very important point. Array index always starts with 0. Very important point. Index always starts with 0 in JavaScript. When you look at an array, index always starts with 0. Index always starts with 0, guys. Okay, so this is how your array is being displayed. So let's create an array onto the code. So I come back to the browser section and I say var fruits table I want to create, and you see I've created a fruits table with 4 elements inside an array. Okay, what is the maximum index here? Anyone? What is the maximum index in this array example? It's 3, 0. Okay, so we start always with 0, 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's what it is. 0, 1, 2, and 3. The maximum index is 3. This was the answer. If you have understood this, you understood the array. Okay, that's how the array is built. So let's use this array. Just place it here. And now what I'm going to do is, remember guys, you just have to put a semicolon at the end of every statement. Now I say fruits dot push. I want to insert a new array item inside. I say I want to insert lychee, and now I see index total elements have become 5, maximum index becomes 4. So maybe I just print it once again, and you see lychee was introduced in the array. Clear? How do you insert an item inside an array? Using push. So you can push an item. It's first come last out, guys. First come last out. It's a stack. Actually, it works like a stack data structure. Now I want to remove an element, so I say fruits. So first come last out, which means whatever come recently will be getting out first. So we just inserted the lychee. So I say fruits dot pop. Done. And you see lychee got removed from it, and now I say fruits. Enter, and you see we have got all the 4 values. Push pop, push pop. Yeah, that lychee which was last introduced, last in first out. You can also call it as last in first out. This was inserted last and it was first out. Last in first out. Okay, so that's your array. Clear everyone? What is an array? How do you work with an array? Now also you can get length of an array. So currently it has 4 items, so you can say fruits dot length. Enter. You see it is giving me length. So can anybody tell me how to calculate the last item index? How to calculate last item index? Length is 4. What is the last item index is 3. How to calculate it? So 0, 1, 2, 3. So how to calculate? Yes, length minus 1. If you do length minus 1, it gives you 3. 4 minus 1 is equals to 3, and that's your last item index. You can see it's matching. That's how you calculate last item index of an array. So let's do fruits dot length minus 1. Press enter. You see you got this. So that's how you calculate last item index of an array. Now if you want to access an element of an array, you can access by index. So you say fruits, and I want to access second element. You see, it's pineapple. 0 1 2, remember 0 1 2, remember 0 1 2. So it will give you third item. You see, 0 1 2, pineapple. If you want apple, what will you write? Anyone? If you want apple, what will you write? Index is 0, so you say fruits of 0. Perfect, it gives you apple. Perfect answer. If you want always the last element of an array, what do you do? Anyone? If you want last element of an array, what do you do? Yes, no, 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 not length, just not just length. You have to do length minus 1. Perfect. So you say fruits dot length, which is gives you total minus 1 last index. Press enter. You see, it always gives you last element always. Never use curly braces. Lokesh, incorrect answer. You should use brackets, not curly braces. Curly braces is used with object. Brackets is used with an array. Okay. Brackets, yes. Now you're right. Brackets. Symbols will break you or make you, guys. Symbols will break you, make you. JavaScript is case sensitive. Symbols will break you and make you. And sometimes you will also forget, you will put here semicolon. Okay. It's a comma between array items. It's a comma. Okay. Now I want to store multiple employee value. What do I do? I showed you storing one employee value. I want to store multiple employee value. What do I need to do? Anyone? What do I need to do? I want to store multiple element employee values. What do I do? Combine object with array, right? Make array of objects. What an answer, Nagarjun. What an answer. Combine array with object. Combine array and object. That becomes array of object. This is called JSON, JavaScript object notation. This is called JSON, guys. JavaScript object notation. JSON, very important. Whole world is running on JSON at this point of time. Your Google, your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your UI5, your Fiori, your SAP, your Oracle, your Microsoft, your Amazon, everyone runs on JSON. JSON is the format to send and receive data in these days. JSON, JavaScript object notation. Very powerful, very, very, very powerful. JavaScript object notation, guys. JSON. So that's an exercise for you, all of you. Okay. Exercise. I want to review this exercise. So tomorrow, please be prepared. I can ask any one of you randomly from the room and show the output of JSON. Okay, this is an exercise for you. Create a JSON with 5 employees inside of an array. Each employee should have employee name, salary, currency, and company name. You can take any random data. Company name N has to be capital. You see, camel case. You have to follow camel case. E name N should be capital. Follow camel case. Follow JavaScript rules. Follow array and object concept. And then get me a JSON with 5 employees inside. Clear, everyone, about what is the assignment? Is that clear to everyone? What is the assignment? Yeah. Create employee and insert, or maybe you can directly create an array of employee. Okay. That's what you need to do. I will pick you up anybody from the room randomly. I will ask you to share your screen and show me the output. You have to show me the output. If you get doubt, email me. Or don't email me, we'll see anyways solution of this in tomorrow's class. But at least try, get your hands dirty into code. Until you do that, you will never learn. So try this out. I want to see each one of you putting some effort about it and get me this JSON tomorrow with 5 employees inside an array. Very important exercise. If you can do this exercise by following the class, you understood complete class. Okay. You understood our complete class today if you can do this exercise. So, any questions before we close? Anyone? No questions? How do we default? Okay, how do we default a given page in IDE? Okay, that's something I need to explore. I didn't check it. Maybe we can just give a try. There has to be possibility to default the page. It's called welcome page option. So let me just quickly create that. I just look at my existing code, and there will be a possibility to say the default page, default launch page. There has to be a possibility to do that. Okay, let me just quickly check how can I do that. So right click project settings. There has to be a way to say which is the default launching uh, page for our app. So there has to be possibility for that. Git repository, languages, mock data, project types. Let me see. SAP UI5. It's under menu, run menu. Okay, let's try run. Run as web application. No, run configuration. Run configuration. Go to run configuration, and you see here the name of your HTML file is placed here. Run application file. My first HTML. It's here, and I think we can change it now. So my JS example, I want to default, and you see it's showing me all the HTML files when I'm typing. I choose it. I say okay. It's saved, and now watch. I run this, and voila, it launches my JS example as a default file for me in the web IDE. Is that clear? Run configuration, my run file name, you put the file name over here, which is the default one you want to run, and say okay. That's a configuration. You can do it. Thank you for the answer. So that's something you can explore it quite easily. Not a big deal. Can we say server-side JS, we implement business logic and model? You're right, Samir. Server-side JavaScript is used for implementing all the business logic, orchestration logic, control flow logic, reading, writing the data to database. All that is used using server-side JavaScript. But don't use model word. Model word is more popular in the client-side JavaScript. We'll see different varieties of model in our course, like JSON, XML, um, OData, resource, these different models we'll see. So that's where we will do it. I have a doubt, instead of using Orient, can't we use WebID trial online? You can use it, no problem. So there's a question here, can we use WebID trial online? So what does it mean? It means SAP provides something called SAP Cloud Platform. It's called hcp.sap.com. And on this itself, there is a web id available, which is an online web id. You don't have to then install anything in your local computer. Okay, so I'm logging in quickly to that SAP Cloud Platform. So you can also use this web ide, no problem. It's absolutely fine. That would then not, you don't need any installation to be done at all in your local computer. So some of you were facing issues with running the command prompt and all that stuff. So those who cannot resolve that issue, you can use SAP Web IDE from HANA Cloud Platform. Yes, it's free. It's free. You see, Neo trial account, I have already set it up on hcp.sap.com. You see, hcp.sap.com. Let me put it here. And I also provide a course on HANA Cloud Platform already. So please subscribe to my HANA Cloud Platform if you want to learn in detail what is HCP. So you can subscribe to my HCP course. It's already offered on my website. And then you can see here in the services. So where is services? Yes, here it is. You will see web id is offered as a service. Search for control F, web IDE. Yes, you see SAP web IDE. Go inside, and now I can say go to this service. It will launch SAP web IDE online. But only problem with this is if you are not connected to internet, okay, then you cannot use it, right? You need an internet connection to stay connected to this. That's the only thing. But with personal edition, SAP web id personal edition, you can even work offline. I mean, if you're not connected to internet, your internet disconnects in the middle, all that is something you can do it. You see, I already created couple of apps over here in SAP Web IDE, my trial account. I created analytical list page application using CDS views for my ABAP on HANA batch. These are all the things I'm trying out in my local web IDE on HANA Cloud platform. This is also absolutely free. But problem is, all the time you need internet connection. I am comfortable with things where I don't want all the time a connectivity to internet, and it kind of, I in by any chance, if the internet connectivity goes off, what will happen to my code? It may be a problem, right? So I won't be able to save it. So that's why I don't prefer using this one. This is also free, but if you're interested, you can use this. The option is available for you. Okay, any other questions? There's a question, can we, is there any chance we can do hands-on on Eclipse? My client is having only Eclipse. Very good point, Sam. Yes, you can. For you to give immediate heal, I have a YouTube video which is posted by me. So let me just go and search for that. Um, Fiori on Eclipse. Search for Fiori on Eclipse, and you see first tutorial, set up Eclipse to create Fiori app. This is a very first tutorial, very first demo. Use this video. You can set up Eclipse development environment for the purpose of setting up UI5. So you can use this. Soon I will also post a video of how to extract a project from Web IDE and make it run on Eclipse. So you can get started with trial. This guy here, create a project from Web IDE. After you learn all the techniques, export this project, and you can import in Eclipse with some tricks and tips which I will give you, and then you can get started. So you see, set up Eclipse to create Fiori app. This is the video. I'll put it also in the chat box. Please have a look at it. You will learn how to set up Eclipse and get started with the same thing what we're doing. Whatever we did here in Web IDE, same runs on Eclipse naturally. You don't have to do anything. There's no problem. Okay, so you can use this. That's an immediate healer for you. So a lot of YouTube videos are there. Please subscribe to my channel. You will get lot of benefits with that subscription. Lot of videos which I'm going to post, like I showed you the chat bot today on HANA XSJS. That's something you can try out and mesmerize your colleagues with that knowledge. Okay, so some of these latest and greatest things which you will learn out of box. And recently I promised my student of last batch that I'll post a video on Git, and you see here it is. I have recently posted this video, 190 views in just 7 days. I've got it. So people are following continuously. Look at the Git integration part, because you would also need it when you're working with multi-developer environment. So I posted this Git integration video recently on the channel. This was a demand from my students, so I completed that demand. Yeah, so stay tuned for the YouTube channel. You will keep on learning with me always, and that's absolutely free for everyone, because people follow me a lot on internet. I get a lot of emails across the globe, and there are people who of course cannot probably also afford my training, but I want to give that love equally back to the community, and that's why I'm creating these free videos on YouTube. I've also recently started on my website free learning series, where I will be posting a lot of different variety of topics, some from gateway, some from access, some from ABAP on HANA, some from S4 HANA, some from Eclipse Web IDE, some from cloud platform. I will keep them up, keep updating these things in my learning series. You can also go and check out on my channel. There is a playlist. So go to my channel. There is a playlist. In the playlist, you will see a BAP on HANA playlist, Fiori training playlist, and about Anubhav's learning series. So I will add more and more video to this Anubhav learning series. So you will learn a lot of new things which are hot in the market with this. And you see, recently I posted a video on how to set up your own ABAP on HANA server in Amazon Cloud. That's also available here on this. Many people contact me and about how to set up our server. You can do it yourself. Even OData server you can set up yourself. It will cost you little higher. I mean, 60 rupees per hour is what they charge. More you use, more you will be charged. So if you use 2 hours a day, then 120 rupees per day you will be charged. But that's a nice option actually, to not being dependent on anybody and setting up it yourself. It's fun, it's a great learning. And I also showed how to use HANA Cloud Connector recently with Cal account. A lot of things which you hear in your company around you, but you don't know. There is no one to guide you. There is no one to tell you what to do. What is the right path of learning? What is that I need to learn to adapt myself to this new market, new changing needs? So that's where this channel is there. This channel will help you to guide you, and I am anyways there with you for lifetime. It's not just a relationship for this class. I'm there with you, all of you, lifetime. I will always be there, keep guiding you, keep bringing you latest and greatest things which are hot in the market, so you can keep your skills up to date. Okay, there's a lot of knowledge. You're just, this is your first step towards learning, guys. So stay tuned, keep learning with me. You will go much ahead of your colleagues, much ahead of your manager also. Great, see you then. Have a nice day. Goodbye.